Thank you for all of the love and all of the comments and all of the feedback on the end of year list that we have put out so far. This is going to be the last one that we put out on behalf of 2022. Today we're going to be talking about my personal top 5 artists and how I'm defining this list. This is not my personal top 5 favorite, although I have a lot of love for the artists within this list. This is a mix of like a breakthrough list slash who's had the best year, who's had the best year in terms of growth, who's put out the most quality along with the quantity, you know, who has also really change the path of their career. There's a lot of different factors, and maybe someone doesn't fit into just one. Maybe there are multiple things that play into somebody's success. So, with that in mind, keep in mind this is what I personally think based on 2022. I was about to say this year, but shut up, let's get on with it. Number 5 on our list goes to Pania. Pania is on my list because of the amount of growth she has had this year. The amount of people's radars she has just sprung up on is incredible. A big part of this was due to the success of Tiki, a single that she put out earlier on in the year, and then just continue to just put out constantly good music. Eventually leading into her EP, Burnt Your Clothes and Changed the Addy. Yeah, she's just done an incredible job this year, in my opinion. And I think that she definitely deserves to be mentioned within having an amazing year. Number 4 on my list goes to Melbourne. Melbourne has just put out so much music this year and has continued the momentum that he started building from last year or 2021, should I say. I feel like halfway through 2021, he started just dropping singles that, people were like, rah, that feels like just a level up within my man. There just seems to be just like, okay, we see what you're doing. And he's just continued rolling with that momentum. And if he continues, that's scary because he has had an incredible year. In my opinion, the quality has matched the quantity. He's put out great videos, he's put out great tracks. I don't know what he's done in terms of performing and things like that, but I can imagine that he's been very, very busy. And if he's not putting out new music, I can imagine that he would be touring or doing shows. I know he's done some things. I know he was at the Take Flight show. Like, I know my man's been about. But this is purely on the merit of the music that he's been putting out and the amount of people's opinions that he has changed. Melbourne has copped a lot of criticism from people previously. I believe even myself, due to a couple of things. And for me, he's turned that around. For me, he's actually massively improved, massively come into his own, and feels like he's now making music that feels more organic to him. And I'm sure that other people feel the same. And yeah, I feel very, very comfortable with putting him fourth in this list. Number 3 on my list, I'm going to give to the 046. 046, very similar reasons to Melbourne, in fact, have just put out quantity along with the quality. 046 have absolutely killed it this year. The amount of love that they are receiving, from a mix of people as well. Like, it's very easy to get a lot of love from one side of the scene or one pocket or even just where you're from, in this case, Sydney. And there's people who are showing them love across the country, man. There's people talking about them online constantly in a positive light. They've been doing some different things. They've had some amazing link-ups with Lissy this year, and other artists. They've also been able to go off and do their own solo music or solo features at the very least, and also put out very, very good music. Like, this group here are a very, very strong group right now, and I've got nothing but love for them and what they're doing right now. Number 2 on my list goes to Lissy. Lissy has also put out an incredible amount of music. And I know that's been a big part of the reason for the last 3, and I don't want that to be the only thing. There's been plenty of other artists that have probably put out more music than them, put out more projects. I don't think any of these guys have had a project this year, And so with that in mind, yeah, there's been people who have put out more. But the amount of singles that they have put out at the quality in which they have And I know I sound like a broken record. I think the reason I put Lissy above 046 and Melbourne and Pania is because of the cultural impact he's had as well. Lissy has not only put on for himself, he's also put on for Brisbane. And not only Brisbane, but he's also put on for his culture in terms of being from Samoa. You know, emphasized massively in what he has done with the track Make It Out and even his verse on the 685 remix. You know, I just feel like Lissy's just riding this perfect blend now of doing the conscious stuff and just saying, like, look, let's look at what we're doing as young people within our community, but then also being able to be staunch and being able to bar the fuck out and being able to be stylish. Like he just knows how to ride this line in between the two, and it feels very, very authentic to him. I can tell you right now that it's very organic to him. He's like the big humble guy that would still crack your head open if he needed to, you know? And I feel like he's just I don't know, I feel like he just puts the right message across. Obviously, that resonates with me. Of course, there's got to be some level of influence that has over me if I really enjoy his music. But if I'm trying to look at this as subjectively neutral and unbiased as possible, I still think he's had one of the best years in Australia, New Zealand there is. Like, I really genuinely do think so. And I think there's only one person that's had a better breakthrough kind of year. Number one. Number one on the list goes to Cahooks. I don't think that is a surprise to many people. Cahooks is the only artist this year that I feel has really broke through from zero. Now, when I say from zero, I am aware that Cahooks had some sort of following on Instagram and social media and TikTok or whatever, doing like freestyles. I know he did entered a freestyle competition for Shelly and won that, and then kind of had a mild rebrand and then has dropped Due Time at the start of the year. He dropped it like it was like January 2nd or 3rd, right? And what he managed to achieve with that single alone is incredible. But then what he's managed to do is keep that momentum rolling, because it is so, so difficult in the music industry to have such a big hit and then keep yourself up there, you know? And Cahooks has managed to do that. And despite maybe not streaming as well on one or two tracks, I still think it's amazing music. He's obviously worked his way into a position where he's now got a record deal or a label deal of some sorts. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm not good with that kind of stuff, but congrats to him. I hope it's the right kind of deal for him, you know, and I hope it does elevate him and I hope it does level him up, because, man, the guy just does it so, so well, in my opinion, you know? I know he's sitting on big features and big other collaborations, and I'm sure that that will bring him even more success. I just hope it captures the essence of the energy that he broke through with, the energy that he has on a Bonnie and Clyde or a True. You know, I hope he's able to carry that going forward whilst also experimenting with different sounds. Being able to do the Mbappe track with Day One, huge, huge hit also, you know, being able to do a hardstyle kind of track with an Open Till Late. Like he's showing them levels of versatility, and I hope he continues to do that while still being Cahooks, you know? Yeah, I think he's just had such an incredible year breaking through, and I feel like he's grown more than anybody else. I feel like if we're talking about where you started versus where you ended up, Cahooks has had the best year out of anyone. So yeah, that's my top 5 list. I would like to give honorable mentions to Husky for putting out what was my favorite EP of the year. I believe that that will be a classic project, and I did have Husky in this top 5. I just feel like the other artists just had way more growth, and I feel like they also put out more music. Husky, don't know how much Husky would have grown this year. Maybe he has, and maybe I'm just not doing enough research. I'm kind of just going with a gut feeling more than anything, and maybe I'm in the wrong for that. But I don't think Husky cares for lists, to be honest. I think we would care more about where Husky is in the list than Husky himself. But I'd like to give an honorable mention because he's still dropped, in my opinion, a classic project. And as I'm saying this out loud now, a little bit of me feels like he should be in and around here. But yeah, regardless, honorable mention. Husky's also had an incredible year based on that project alone. Hopefully next year he has a better year in terms of personal stuff, and hopefully that contributes to the music side of things. I'd also like to give an honorable mention to IAmChazza. IAmChazza has also had an incredible year in terms of output. I guess you could also throw NASA Nova in here, just because of the sheer amount of music they've put out together, of course, with the EP and whatnot. And I know IAmChazza made a lot of people's lists, and I guess that's just because he's unapologetically forcing his way into the conversation, you know? 1-4 are open. I'm openly a very big fan of 1-4. And I will openly also say I've been a big fan of IAmChazza this year. And during my first time listens in my reactions, I often may criticize him for perhaps not doing as much as I feel like he could be, not really tapping into that potential. But when I'm sitting on this music and I'm listening to it back, I feel like I've been incredibly harsh. Like, it is some really good music. Yes, I don't care for the real life beef. I don't care for the real life scenario and dynamics. I don't care too tough about that. I am purely speaking on a music standpoint. I really feel like IAmChazza has a high ceiling here. And I feel like within this year of 2023, he's going to tap into more of that potential. And I hope he continues to do so because, yeah, there's a lot of big things to come from this guy. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anyone that I've not included in my list that you would put in your list. If so, please explain your reasons why. I know it's super easy to go, shut up, Chazzy, you gronk. I understand it's easy to do that. And if you want to do that, so be it. Go ahead. But if you want to give me a legit reason why you believe another artist should be in this list, feel free to do so. I hope to get responded to some comments and yeah, I really like a debate when you're able to really form your opinion around it. So if you feel like someone deserves to be in this list, genuinely, not out of personal bias, I don't care if your boy had 20 views on his freestyle when you love him. That's amazing. Keep supporting your boy. But let's look at the scene as a whole. Who has really and truly had the best year, in your opinion? I'd really like to have this discussion with you. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. This is a YouTubey kind of outro. I don't normally do these, so I'm going to say the end.